Today's show, is brought to you and you and you and you by Draftkings Sportsbook. The top-rated sports booking app. I mean, they're safe, they're secure, they're also reliable. And when you talk about some of the awesome things they have going on, we always come bearing gifts via promo code, baby. So for those people that are downloading the app for the first time, man, and you're putting in that, initial deposit of $5, once you use the promo code MOATS, you see what you're getting back, $200 in bonus bets, man. It is an awesome concept. You can use that money to potentially earn you some more compensation with some anytime score prop bets that they got going on. Shout out to DraftKings for that as well. But we also know that at times you can get lost in the sauce, baby. And when that happens, if you live in New York, it's the number that you can text. But for everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER. I said 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you superseer the Steelmatic Network with G Honda, says Moats, does Najee get paid? It's about to get real.
The problem is this: we're not going to be able to do any type of payment until we get the full body of work this season, since the Steelers have the self-imposed, rule of not negotiating in season. So I think he's just playing with fire. The way he's playing right now, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, take care of him, man, because it's only going to potentially raise his value, raise his market. Kind of similar to what TG said with Saquon last year. Before the Giants were willing to commit into a little bit longer of a deal, a lot of us were kind of like, okay, when is the last time Saquon's played a full season, right? Start to finish and look good the whole time. And it took him having to do that for Philly to decide, yeah, we'll pay him a little bit more. We'll do that. So with Najee, I kind of think it's similar here. It's like, man, show that you can still hold up and still can take a ton of touches, a ton of, hits out there, but still be that constant 1,000-yard back, still be that ball secure guy that we don't ever have to worry about fumbling. And I think that for the Steelers, if he proves that again, now you're talking about a guy that would have 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons as a running back. And when you start looking around all the quote-unquote elite backs, none of them dudes have done that. And that's the part for Najee where his value, I do think, will continue to increase.
Starting to see a little reemergence of the old / we think he's washed running back.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley leading the league in yards. J.K. Dobbins, I know he's not old, but with all those injuries and everything.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara, back in the top 5 rushing. Derrick Henry in the top 5.
Henry looked good last week.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs is at 6. And, he's been around the block a little bit.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's dealt with injuries. This is his 5th or 6th season.
Mm-hmm.
He's number 7. So, you look at the top 7 guys outside of Jordan Mason. These are a lot of dudes. You just think they're more on the back end than being in their prime, but they're still getting it done.
Yep.
Maybe there's a resurgence of the running back position.
Yeah. And that's the thing I'll say, man. So
Joe Mixon even.
Joe, but I never felt like Joe fell off. I felt like Joe was always good. It was like the offense shifted from playing through him with some of those injuries and everything's kind of got crazy in terms of the Joe Burrow stuff. That's when it started to strain them. But then everybody started getting paid. You know how that goes, man. Receivers got to get paid. You got a pass rush over there that wanted to get paid. Safeties were trying to get paid.
Aaron Jones at 10. He's got 228. He's got to be close to 30 at this point. Yeah, a lot of familiar names and the top of the rushing stats this year.
I like
Good for them.
I like it.
Maybe they need to have another meeting. Trent Johnson says, I love Naj, but out of the top 20 rushers, he is the lowest YPC at 3.8 this season.
Yeah, that is accurate. And historically for Najee, he's hovered around 3.8, 3.9. I think is it 3.9?
He eclipsed 4 last year. So, yeah, his career might be either 3.9 or 4.
Yeah, it's like 3. Yeah, it's in that range. Yes, if we're just simply talking about the status of what is RB1, do you want the yards per carry to be higher than that? Sure. But I also look at some of those guys who do have the higher yards per carry, and I compare their full bodies of work to what Najee is also doing. If you're not out there as often, yeah, you're not going to have as many negative plays either. So your yards per carry will be higher. And when you talk about some of these guys that deal with some of these injuries, some of these guys that aren't asked to be the bell cow the way that Naj does or is asked to perform in certain scenarios, I do think that will benefit their yards per carry a little bit more, even though I don't necessarily feel that it tells the full story about Najee being a good player or better than a player that might have a higher yards per carry average. That's the thing that we say as like players when we're like, yo, the stats, they'll tell a part of the story, but not the whole story per se. And 3.8 this season, I would be the one to say that I think that his impact has been greater than 3.8 yards per carry when watching these games, and then also seeing the flow of how teams are having to respond to us. When he's getting his 3.8 per, you look at how these defenses are feeling and how they playing it. I don't think that they look at it as, man, that just felt like 3.8. That ain't feel like 3.8. It ain't moving like 3.8.
Definitely not in the second half of that Chargers game.
Yeah, so that's, kind of how it just respond to that part about the yards per carry. I'm trying to think of an analogy, man, with...
Well, and some of that's not all on him either.
It's not, yeah.
Because with how the line has played and the holes that are being opened up for him, like, sometimes you can only do so much.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing good. I think you're right. Just from the eye test of watching him this year, he's played better than a 3.8 yards per carry stat.
Because I'll be interested to see, like, pull
I
up
think
the
his
top
rookie
20
year,
rushers. Can you pull up the yards per carry real quick?
Yeah.
To see who some of these names are, just to compare and contrast. Yeah.
It's kind of like all over the place.
It's all right, man.
Saquon Barkley, 5'6". Okay. Jordan Mason, 4'8".
So is 5'6" the best right now?
No. J.K. Dobbins at 7'4".
Okay. That's what I thought. Like, J.K. was up there pretty high.
Lamar Jackson at 7'3". That doesn't count.
Shout out to Lamar.
Yeah, because Kyler Murray's at like 10.7.
Yeah,
he's
them QBs, yeah, that's
top
different.
25. Brian Robinson Jr. at 4.6. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5.2.
Okay.
Ramondre Stevenson, 4.3.
Okay.
Aaron Jones, 5.4. Jonathan Taylor, 5.1. Josh Jacobs, 4.5. Derrick Henry at 5. Alvin Kamara at 4.7. So, yeah. A lot in the 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins at 7.
And Najee, we're saying, is at 3.8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breece Hall was at 22. He's got a 3.7 going.
Okay. Breece been playing it better than that 3.7 too.
Yeah, you look at even Najee's rookie year, I think he was 3.8, 3.9, but that line was atrocious. And we got him the ball a lot in the passing game too. Like, I think he played better his rookie year based off eye test than whatever that 3.8, 3.9 yards per carry indicates. I feel the same way here. This is, I think, probably the best start he's had yet in a Steeler uniform. Yeah, I think last week was if there was one game that brought that down, maybe not with how he finished, because I mean his stat line was looking brutal the first two.
And we say, yo, there's no way
quarters.
he's gonna get this. So we're like, well, if he averaged this every single game, he can. And sure enough, it was like, yeah, he's on track still.
He's averaging 70 per game.
Yep.
That's gonna get you, I think, maybe even over 1,100 yards, close to 1,200. So all you need's 60 in a 17-game season to get the 1,000. Might even be like 58, 59. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I think the opportunities will get better because, I mean, Chargers, good defense. Broncos, I don't know. I can't remember his exact stat line against the Broncos. That might have been his best game.
Let me see.
Falcons, that he had to earn some tough yards there, which was surprising to me because I didn't think the Falcons were going to be that good with their front seven.
All right, so versus Denver, Najee had 17 carries, 69 yards, 4.1 per average week 1.
But maybe every game has been like that then. I think Falcons was something like that too. He hasn't hit over 80 yards in any of these games. I think
I was about to say,
like
all
60
in that
or
range.
70-ish. I think he's playing fine. And it's a...
Yeah. Najee had 20 carries for 70 yards week 1 versus the Falcons, averaged 3.5 per carry, but he did have a 20-yard long.
Yeah,
run.
it's a nice thing he's doing this too with Jaylen Warren being out and banged up and everything. It's just more credit to Najee, where maybe people like me, I've overlooked him in the past, saying Jaylen Warren is a more explosive player and everything. The thing you can't take away from Najee is that durability. That does count.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
But they say your best ability is your availability at times.